Hi guys, welcome back to King's Quest II: Romancing the Stones. We are just about to start the underwater level with the mermaid here, so let's go ahead and get started. So we need to give her the shell comb.
You hold out the shell comb in your hand. Clear recognition shines from the mermaid's delicate features. She hesitates a moment, then cautiously extends her arm, hands open expectantly. You gently place the shell comb in her palm. The mermaid examines it and smiles. She removes an opal necklace from around her neck and hands it to you. After a moment of admiring her once-lost possession, she looks at you with anticipation. You attempt to charade the act of going underwater to the mermaid. She regards you with a look of puzzlement. Just when the whole demonstration becomes too embarrassing to continue, she suddenly dives into the sea and swims right up to you. After giving you a rather intense kiss, the mermaid dives under the water again. You wonder where she has disappeared to. Then suddenly, you feel a pulling at your legs. The mermaid holds on to you, keeping you from resurfacing. You struggle instinctively while trying to hold your breath, but she will not let go. You know you are going to black out soon. Wait a minute, you're still breathing. How can this be? Could it have been the mermaid's kiss? Speaking of which, where has she gone to this time?
A horsey for me! Yay! Okay, so we're gonna have to mount the seahorse. It'll take us to King Neptune.
This is a new experience. The seahorse willingly allows you to climb upon its back. You slide into the little saddle and take up the reins in your hands. You just hope this creature knows where it is taking you. After a time of traveling through ever-deepening water, you arrive at a massive stone archway. Passing through it, you notice it is covered with many different intricate symbols, none of which you recognize. Mer writing, perhaps? As you emerge on the other side of the arch, a grand sight greets your eyes. You have entered an aquatic throne room. As one would expect, such a place has a throne of sorts, but what you see seated in it takes your breath away, if that still applies. It is unmistakably the ruler of the Mer people, the king of this watery world. Known by many names, Neptune is the one by which he is best known to your kind. You bow before the king. He returns the gesture with a lowering of his own head. You open your mouth to speak, but only a bubble emerges. It begins floating up to the surface. You watch as your air bubble divides in two. Incredibly, each half maintains its semi-spherical shape. You take the half bubbles in your hands and position them respectively near your mouth and ear. A deep, elegant voice instantly booms from them.
You are welcome here, human.
Thank you. I am King Graham of Daventry.
Your courtesy depicts your stature. What is it you seek here?
You explain that you are seeking the 3 gems of nature, and that you believe one of them to be somewhere in this realm. You demonstrate the approximate size and shape of the gem, then mention the Door of Destiny and what you hope to find on the other side.
I do have that which you are seeking, and know of the Door of Destiny. It is very old. Its origin is known to but a few. What I possess was known to the ancients as the Birth Gem. In the realm of the Mer people, it is called the Water Gem, for without water, life cannot begin.
Might I have this gem, Your Majesty?
I shall let you have the gem, but first I must ask you to earn it by way of performing a service for me.
You are about to say anything, but then remember what you heard the last time you said that word to the stone door. Instead, you just nod and allow Neptune to continue.
My trident, the symbol of my power and the strength of my people, has been stolen.
A faint mumbling can be heard through the ear half of your bubble. This event is obviously of concern to those in attendance.
It is believed that one of our allies and neighbors have taken advantage of the Mer people's kindness, and that their own king now has possession of the trident. If you can reclaim it in the name of the Mer people, I will grant you ownership of the water gem. Will you do this, King Graham?
The murmuring has stopped. All are awaiting your response.
I would be honored to reclaim your trident, Your Majesty.
My sentries will escort you to the border between our two kingdoms. You may continue to use that steed to hasten your journey. It is my best. My sincerest hopes that you do not fall victim to the Sharkies.
Yay.
As you prepare yourself for this new quest, a sudden pang of apprehension seizes you. Did the king just say sharkies, as in sharks?
Yeah, I don't like sharks, so,
Your Majesty, is there
I'm not a
anything
big
you can
fan of
tell
this
me about
part.
the Sharkies?
They are large, fierce, and carnivorous.
Anything else?
They are always hungry.
Anything that might be of benefit?
Like something to help you live longer?
I do recall that they have poorer vision than we Mer people do, as they dwell in the darker waters.
Noise.
So I might have a chance were I to encounter one.
You can always hope.
That was not inspiring.
So confident.
Why was your trident stolen?
That is a matter of great concern to me. Should the Sharky King determine the trident's nature, he would assuredly bring about the deaths of countless Mer people.
I shall return as soon as I am able, Your Majesty.
Good luck.
Okay, so that's all we can talk to him about.
As
Now
you
we get to
depart the
go
underwater kingdom,
to the
you see
shark
two
world.
guards waiting to escort you to the Sharkies realm.
Yay.
The sentries swiftly guide you along the bottom of the seabed, descending into much darker, colder water. After keeping pace with them for what seems like an eternity, you notice a forebodingly dark area looming closer and closer. You have arrived at the border of the Sharkies' kingdom. This is as far as the sentries will take you. One of the guards salutes you, then they both head back to the safety of their own waters. You're on your own from here, Graham.
Joy of joys.
Those guards were sure in a big hurry to get out of here.
Yeah, I'd like to join them. Okay, definitely want to save your game, because if you encounter one of their sentries, they're hard to get away from, and if they catch you, they'll kill you, so... Okay. This way, mighty steed. Okay, so there's a shipwreck here. I'm gonna search it.
Examining the heavily waterlogged remnants of the vessel, you notice an old antique bottle, half buried in the sand. With great difficulty, you lean over in your saddle and manage to scoop it up.
Okay, so now we want to open the bottle.
You remove the cloth from the bottle.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna have to kind of go a little out of the way to avoid the sharky sentries. So grab some of this
You
grass.
need to get close.
Good grief, I'm literally right beside it.
You lean over and pick some of the grass, which grows in between the rocks.
Okay. So we're basically going to be making a glowing fish trap. Is
You
that in
stuff
there?
the sugary grass into the empty bottle and push it all the way to the bottom.
We're going to try and catch these fish.
You place the baited bottle on the seabed, close to the luminescent fish.
Once a few go in there, we'll grab the bottle and then we'll have a light source because there's going to be a really dark area.
A few of the glowing fish are now swimming around inside the bottle. You take the bottle.
Don't eat me. That's not a sharky sentry. That's just a regular shark. And another just ever so delightful shark. Please don't eat me. See the fish kind of swim in. It's like an illusion, so we can actually go through.
Having noticed the fish moving suspiciously in and out of the rock wall, you reach out and touch it. To your astonishment, your hand passes right through. The western wall is but an illusion. You easily pass through it into a series of caves and tunnels on the other side.
So we basically just kind of have to wander through here until we see a giant shell. There it is. Okay. So, need to use our sword on it. And I'll pry it loose.
You need to move close.
I'm literally right beside it. Stay there, horsey.
You slide your blade through a small gap in the door and pull with all your might. It is difficult handling your weapon underwater, and you realize that combat will not be an option. So if it ever comes to that, you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
As you open the door, ample light floods into the underwater cave, and you are now able to make your way around without the glowing fish.
We are definitely going to save here because this is kind of a difficult part coming up. We don't need to remount our horse because he'll just dismount the second you get in here, and the horse will follow us in, so...
Oh no, the seahorse has followed you. Let's hope it doesn't give your presence away. You are safely concealed behind the remnants of a stone archway. This is fortunate, as the king of the Sharkies is also here. Aside from his menacing appearance, he also seems to be in a very bad mood.
I do not understand it. It should work for me. Is it not written that Trident's power can
That
only be
thing's not
wielded by
horrifying.
those of goodwill? Well, is it not?
The king's aides nod fervently.
And do I not possess the greatest will in this kingdom? No one can best me in battle. My resolve is unshakable. No amount of bleeding can dissuade me from slaughtering my enemies. Does this not signify that my will is the best there is?
The Sharky king's aides seem all too willing to agree.
Then why does it not work?
You watch carefully as the Sharky king taps 4 shells in order around the arch.
matters not. Tomorrow we invade the Mer people's territory. For without the Trident's power, that old fool Neptune and his weakling followers will fall before our might. Goodwill. Ha! Mine is superior to all.
As he leaves, the Sharky King motions for his guards to remain.
Okay, so we're gonna need to distract them, or we're gonna use the seahorse to do it.
Having an idea, you approach your somewhat reluctant steed and slap him hard on the back. Look at him go.
He's gonna distract them. We need to swim over here up to the treasury door. Okay, so it was the third one down.
You push on the shell. It moves back slightly into the wall.
And it was the first one again, and then the sixth one. Grab the trident.
Without delay, you snatch up the trident before the guards return to their posts. It appears as if the guards are losing interest in the seahorse. You had better get out of here quickly.
Okay.
Oh no, the seahorse has followed you all the way back to the secret entrance. The guards are sure to discover you now.
We're gonna save our game because this is gonna be like a little mini game coming up. It's a real pain in the butt. I don't like it, but we're gonna try and do it as best we can. Alright, horsey.
You remount the seahorse. Your seahorse glides onward, flicking its little tail faster than ever. You grip the reins tightly, glancing nervously over your shoulder every so often to check for pursuing sentries. As you make distance, your anxiety melts into relief. But it is to be short-lived.
Pretty much. Yes, we'll play through it. Want to, but we will. Basically, you have to dodge the rocks, and you can't go too slow or too fast. You hit like a fire rock, like that. Trying to move, it just doesn't want to. They get closer and closer to catching you, and then obviously if they catch you, you're dead. Go! Go! Seriously, I cannot go any faster. I'm literally sprinting as it is. Okay,
Finally, you see the light at the end of the tunnel. You quickly make a dash for the exit.
Yes, dashing! Go!
As you emerge, you realize you have only seconds before the guards come out after you. And even if you could outrun them, you're sure the commotion would attract the sentry's attention. Then you'd be in real trouble. Suddenly, you hear a strange voice in your head.
He of noble and goodwill, royal trident thou may wield.
You wonder what that did, if anything at all.
Oh, it did. Pretty sure they just bonked into the wall there because I turned it solid.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah, we're gonna save because I am not doing that again. I hate that stupid minigame. Because it just doesn't seahorse doesn't move very well. And the faster you go, the more likely you are to hit the lovely rocks. So now we are going to try to get out of here.
This is the main entrance to the Sharky's fortress. Guards are usually posted here, but at the moment they must be out on patrol. In any case, it would be wise not to loiter here for too long.
No kidding. Don't want to. So every time I see that thing, it makes me just go, "Ah." I do not like sharks at all. Okay. Should be a straight shot out of here, but we have to be ready to use the trident if one of the sentries shows up, because we can basically turn them into fish. Yes, please, I would like to leave.
The trident
There we go.
guides you back to Neptune's realm.
Ah.
You approach the king. He smiles and graciously accepts his trident from you. Then he calls everyone to attention.
To commemorate the return of my trident, and to honor King Graham's success, I hereby call for a celebration.
The celebration lasts for some time. You eat, drink, and have a merry time with many of the
Party!
mer people. After a few hours, the festivities wind down, and you finally have a chance to speak with Neptune alone.
The gems of nature represent the 3 stages of life. Water gives birth to life, and thus what I have given you is the first of 3. Second is the growth gem, or air gem, for air sustains life and permits it to grow.
How might I find the growth gem?
I know only that its location is as far above the surface of the land as we are below it. Beyond that, I cannot aid you.
We
A
gotta
smirk
fly.
crosses Neptune's face momentarily.
You might say that air is not exactly my element.
Oh, ha,
You
ha,
decide
ha.
that the beverages consumed were to blame for that one.
And the third gem, Your Majesty?
Third is the death gem, the completion of life and the natural order of things. The door of destiny understands this now, as did the ancients who imprisoned the soul within. As for that gem's location, I had hoped you would have no business venturing to the castle. Colima was once ruled from that place, but sadly her people have not seen their lord for quite some time. But if you please, I would prefer not to dwell upon this subject. You have done me a great service this day, and I thank you. Good luck, King Graham, and good speed.
We get to swim back out of here? Joy.
You depart the underwater kingdom and head back towards the surface. What an incredible experience. You are certain you'll never forget the adventure you just had. Additionally, you have acquired one of the gems. As you resurface, you realize that the magic which allowed you to breathe underwater has now subsided.
We have a gem. Yay! We can look at it in our inventory. And if you use the hand on it, it'll kind of, the energy will be different depending
You
on the
feel a
gem.
rejuvenating energy radiating from it.
It's the birth gem. So now we're going to head back to town. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and save my game. And now we can help this guy a little bit with his hay fever problem. We're gonna give him this cloth here.
Here, this might help your sneezing.
Oh, thanks. Here, you can have this back now.
You retrieve the partially used cloth from the haystack.
You.
Feel better?
Yeah, it's so good to be able to be.
And look, the convenient needle in a haystack.
You take the silver needle.
Silver needle. That's important. Okay, so we're gonna go read yet another book from the library. Actually, we're gonna read two in here this time. Hello.
Yes?
Could you recommend another good book?
There!
Thank you.
This book is entitled Legends. Browsing through it, you notice an interesting excerpt.
Daventry's first king, known to many as Legendimor, is as much an enigma of history as he is woven into the fabric of legend itself. Though his passing occurred nearly 1,000 years ago, it remains somewhat unclear as to the manner of his death and what became of the power he wielded. Historians do know that Legendimor was a powerful magician, or a wizard, as he might be called nowadays. He is largely credited with bringing, along with his kind, magic and civility to Daventry and the surrounding world. According to legend, during what was arguably the bloodiest war Daventry has ever seen, Legendimor sought to commit his awesome power to the cosmos. It is believed that he blamed himself for the extent of the Grand War, in particular the magic that had been used to exacerbate the death toll. He therefore chose to render himself mortal, an action that would prove to be his last. However, legend would also suggest that his power may be attainable, if only one were to perceive and understand how and when. This is evidenced by a parchment located just a few centuries ago and dated 30 years after the first king's death. I bet this is what that father guy is looking for. If seeketh you are the power of Legendimor, thou shalt be well appraised. It will not be an easy task. From the path thou must be swayed. For in great Daventry lies the means for which it may be found, belonging to one who rules the land by one who wears the crown. From this circle nature springs, from royal thoughts thus sown, though woe betide the unjust thief who claims it for his own. In this great land 'tis known to rest the corpse of Legendimor, who died defending his home turf in the longest, fiercest war. His great mistake, which sealed his fate, he cast his magic aside, up high into the heavens, which forever stretches wide. But the search may be rewarding for the seeker of this power, as its apex soon approaches, when cometh the darkest hour. Hark! Spy sun and moon and planets, as all of them align. The one prepared for the ascension will surely see the sign. Power thus can then be granted to just one from this great tool. If one be thee, then thou shalt be the everlasting jewel. The first king's brother, Morgalen, was also presumed killed in the Grand War. Legendimor's loyal first knight and successor, Granthithor, that was the name of our ship, ruled over the realm for nearly 50 years. He sired a number of children who either remained to guarantee the continuation of the royal bloodline or set forth to build kingdoms of their own. Well, that was interesting. Now we need to get another book.
Yes?
Could you recommend another good book?
There!
Thanks.
This book is entitled Power, Politics, and Pulpits. Browsing through it, you notice an interesting excerpt.
In many lands, the church and state have long shared a mutual distrust of one another. While this state is responsible for the wealth and security of the realm, the church's concern is for the moral standing of the population. It is said that when one intrudes upon the domain of the other, discord is inevitable. In no other place has this been more unpleasant than Colima. The feud between the two institutions there dates back many decades. In the days of the late Count Freystrom, The Lord of Kalima spoke openly of the need for change, chiefly regarding the education of the common people. The Church of the Faith maintained that the simple people were of the land, they knew their rightful place, and thus their path was secure. Years later, the young and idealistic Count Caldor, Craestrome's heir, declared that the Church of the Faith had purposely been holding the people back, retaining their ignorance of literature and the wider world for their own selfish benefit. Naturally, the Church resented this insinuation and in turn declared Caldor a heathen. At that time, the mood of the population had tensed. Stability in the realm had weakened as dissension between the church and state rose. It may have continued to do so had the situation not been annulled by tragedy. The Count befell a terrible injury while in the forest one night, which later proved fatal. While it expressed its condolences to the family of the fallen lord, the Church of the Faith asserted that only through its own vision for Colima, not the rulers, could the people find their true path. It is a curious point to note that no new leader has been chosen to replace Caldor, though it has been many years since his passing. When questioned about this, the townsfolk are likely to either ignore the inquiry altogether or cast a furtive glance in the direction of the now inaccessible castle. Interesting. So now we're going to leave, and we're actually going to go into the antique shop. Which is over here. And there's just tons of junk in
You
here,
are inside a
basically.
cute little antique shop. Old furniture and knickknacks clutter the place. Against the wall, a low bench displays an assortment of items.
And then we got this statue here.
An expensive-looking statue catches your eye. It is sculpted of white marble and appears to be the only item of any real value within the shop. You find it quite odd that this grand statue is situated amongst other ordinary items of far less value.
Okay, and then there's a magic lamp there on the counter. So let's go ahead and talk to the shopkeeper.
Good afternoon. What can I do for you, dear?
Hello. Do you sell anything that would aid an ascent up a mountain?
Unfortunately, I do not sell climbing equipment or anything of that sort. This is really a specialist store.
Oh,
However, I do have an item which you might find useful. This lamp is said to contain a genie. Never tried it myself, of course. I do not believe in using magic to solve my problems.
Right.
Nature has made us as we are, and we should be glad of that.
uh-huh. How much for the lamp?
The old lady hesitates. You sense she wants more from you than your money. You hope it is not anything that you will regret.
Well, seeing as how you are a man who seems adept at taking care of himself, perhaps you could do a small favor for me?
Somehow, you knew she was going to say that.
I once owned a beautiful nightingale, quite rare around here, but the sentimental value far outweighs its monetary worth. That foul old witch Hagatha has stolen it from me, probably to use in some concoction or another.
Her nose screws up in disgust.
So, if you could be a sweetie and retrieve it for me, I will trade you. The lamp for the bird. Agreed?
Well, I will see what I can do.
Do be careful. If Hagatha should spot you out of her good eye, then you'll be in for it.
Okay.
You have nothing more to say at this time.
All right. Now we get to go to Hagatha's cave, which is oh so delightful. All right. So she's actually got the place trapped. So we want to look at these skulls.
It is a human skull with a radiant blue stone wedged into its eye socket.
And this is like what Possum told us. Our grandma was saying blue light is the bat's bane. So
It is a human skull with large eye sockets.
basically, we have to take our gem that we worked so hard for and put it in the skull's eye socket to disable the trap.
As you attempt to place the birth gem into the skull, you discover that it does not fit properly. Instead, it juts out uselessly like a bulging eyeball.
Yeah,
The
see,
birth
it's kinda
gem
hanging out.
protrudes from the skull like a bulging eyeball. You'll somehow need to push it in further.
Which means we have to pound on it with this lovely mallet. Not that that makes me nervous.
You gently tap the birth gem with the mallet, hoping not to break it. It budges only slightly. You give it a harder hit. It moves a bit more. You hold your breath and give the gem an almighty thwack. It pops into the skull.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and save our game. And then we're going to disarm this trap.
As you face the skull towards the image of the bat above the cave, you notice that its wing has faded slightly. However, you suspect that whatever danger the bat represents is still in effect. You turn the rightmost skull so that it faces the bat symbol above the cave entrance. The power of the two skulls combined has caused the bat symbol to disappear. You sense whatever danger it represented has now subsided.
Okay, into Hagatha's cave we go. And we have to be careful.
As you enter, you are almost overwhelmed by the foul stench which molests your nostrils. It is obviously coming from whatever Hagatha is cooking in that large cauldron of hers. There are some things of interest on the other side of the cave, but you have no means of crossing over there safely at this time. A caged nightingale sits on the floor near the northern cave wall. The light from outside barely penetrates the interior of this cave. So long as you keep your distance, Hagatha shouldn't notice you.
So we need to kind of stay along this path here. Search
You
this
need to get
cloak.
close.
I'm literally right there. How much closer do I need to be?
Being as quiet as a mouse, you slide your hand inside the cloak to discover a deep pocket. Amongst sticky and disgusting spell ingredients, you find a tiny silver key and a peculiar golden ring-shaped device.
Okay. We need to get the key. It's for the nightingale's cage.
You need to get... You hear Agatha begin a chant of some
Drug.
kind.
The fluid of blood with bone and flesh.
You slide the silver key into the lock. It fits. You turn it silently, and the chain falls to the ground.
And we need to put the cloth over the nightingale so it doesn't make any noise.
You silently drop the cloth over the cage. Without making a sound, you take the nightingale into your possession.
'Twill make my complexion young and fresh.
Get out of here. Ooh. Okay. Let's go to the next little meadow area. Okay, so now we're going to remove the cloth from the cage.
You remove the cloth from the cage.
And then we're going to look at the cage.
Looking at the bottom of the cage, you find that a letter has become stuck to it. You peel it off.
Okay. Like to look at the
The
letter,
paper
please.
is slightly crumpled and dirty, having somehow become stuck to the bottom of a bird cage. You read the letter.
My dear sister, it has been a while since my last letter to you, and quite an age since we last spoke. Such are the busy lives we lead. I know of your preoccupation with eliminating your competition and wish you well in that ongoing endeavor. As for my part, the servant I have owned for the past 17 years is soon to come of age. It will almost be a shame to kill this one, for he is quite adept at his chores, but the tradition must be observed at all times. I shall require a replacement in the not too distant future. Perhaps I should think up a new name for my next slave, though it is that much easier when I need only remember one. I've asked the father to notify me at once should he hear of any likely candidates. Speaking of which, though it is in no way my place to question the will of the father, for surely he has the best interest of all of his followers at heart. Yeah, right. Does he not spend so much time locating that item of legend which he has been seeking for almost a millennium? While he is not to be second guessed, I do wonder. Is he so assured of its existence that he is willing to turn his attention away from his flock for so long a time? As for our remote brother, he seems increasingly interested in the ladies these days. I believe he has his eye on a royal couple who are expected to conceive a girl within the year, or so the signs say. I must confess, if he's prepared to wait so many long years for the child's maturation before abducting her, then he has far more patience than I. Ew. I await your reply, dear sister, and hope that this letter finds you well. If you have the chance to speak with the father, perhaps you will inquire of his commitment to this item he seeks. I would advise the utmost discretion, naturally. Your loyal and by far the better sibling, M. It's
The letter
Mananan.
puzzles you, but you put it away and continue your quest.
It's Mananan, who's the villain in King's Quest 3. Oh, we got to get our gem back here. So, but yeah, the letter was kind of a little Easter egg for the next game.
You strike the skull with all your strength, and it shatters easily. The birth gem clatters to the ground, along with a multitude of bone fragments. You reacquire the birth gem.
Now let's go ahead and head back to town so we can give the shopkeeper her nightingale.
You offer the nightingale to Angelina. The sheer elation on her face almost makes the whole risk worth the while. She snatches it from you and proceeds to fuss over the bird. You wait for a moment, but it seems she no longer notices you.
If you don't mind, about the lamp you promised me in trade for the nightingale?
The shopkeeper looks up at you vaguely. She gradually remembers that there is another being in her world.
Yes? Oh, yes, take it. You'll have no beginning of use with it.
Don't you mean no end of use?
Of course. Whatever you say, dear.
You hear Angelina muttering cheerfully to herself as she exits.
Finally, I have the final ingredient for that marvelous youth potion. I am going to beat you to the punch, my dear Agatha. Serves you right for hoarding this sweet, juicy thing to yourself.
You feel a nauseous tinge in your stomach. Well, at least the lamp is now yours.
I think we have just
You
contributed
take
to
the
that
old
bird's
lamp.
death. Okay.
You rub the lamp and wait expectantly, but nothing happens. You're about to give it another try when a small puff of smoke appears at the end of the spout. It clears, revealing a note. As you remove it, the lamp disappears. You read the scroll.
Oh, to the unlucky fool who bought this lamp. As you may have gathered, this lamp is no longer contains a fabulous genie, as my former master, praise him in his greatness, has released me with his final wish. However, as a consolation, please be advised of the following. A shopkeeper is not to be trusted. She dabbles in the black arts and keeps rather distasteful company. May these words reveal what lies beneath, and may your findings lead you to a higher position in life. So hard like a stone and white like the snow stands silent the man who guards what's below. So it's a statue. May you forever know the beauty of freedom. Signed, Nibor Si Ma Will. Genie. All right. Well, let's go ahead and save.
Upon closer examination, you discover that the statue hides a small latch. You flip the latch and watch in amazement as a trap door opens up from the floor.
Oh, go into there. There we
You
go.
close the... You see a letter on the desk. You read the letter sitting on the desk.
Angelina, once again, I put to you an invitation to join our illustrious community. Unsurprisingly, you have heard of its reputation through other channels. I personally encourage you to give it serious thought. We are not only interested in new membership from the mages of this world. This invitation goes out to all who believe that, when the appointed time comes, only the faithful will be rewarded. The rest of those poor, unenlightened fools will perish. All that is asked in return is complete allegiance to the Father. He has guided us from the beginning, and his power is far older than most. I know you are hesitant to concerns regarding the dress code. Let me assure you that black will look simply charming on you, dear. My gratitude goes out to you for your flattering assertion that I would make a fine ruler of Colima. What a shame that the former ruler has lost all interest in his homeland. I cannot blame him, however. The change struck him quite hard. To answer your earlier question, yes, I have acquired a nightingale. They are most uncommon in this region, and yes, I am quite sure that it is the final ingredient required to complete my youth potion. As much as I would like to share it with you, I'm afraid that a single nightingale will provide only enough solution for one person. In any event, I shall of course pay you a visit the moment the youth potion takes effect. H. So Hagatha and Angelina know each other.
You see a colorful rolled up carpet. As you pick up the carpet, you notice a small label which reads, Property of Al Din. There might be a faded letter or two in there, but you cannot be sure. Above you, from the back room, you discern Angelina's voice.
I did it! I did it! The youth potion is finally finished. All I need to do now is drink it.
Angelina, show yourself, you scurvy wench.
Agatha? My dear! What an unexpected surprise!
Don't you play the fool with me. I know you stole it.
Stole? Really, I do not know.
Silence. For your lies and deceit, there can be only one consequence.
No, please. I can explain.
I said silence. Oh, and one more thing.
I think Angelina is no more.
Your invitation to join us is revoked. What is this? Ah, the youth potion at last. Oh no. Drat. Now what was that spell for removing floorboards? Curses.
Hammer nail?
I shall have to go back and look it up.
Crowbar?
You fish around in the pile of down and successfully retrieve the youth potion.
Okay, well, let's get out of here.
Cautiously, you open the trapdoor ever so slightly and peer into the room above. Hagatha is nowhere to be seen. You make your exit from the basement.
I'm gonna make sure to close the trapdoor behind you.
You flick the latch. The trapdoor closes and conceals itself into the floorboards once more.
Now we're gonna get out of here and we're gonna go to where we can use the magic carpet.
You can't use that there.
Right here is where we can use the magic carpet.
You unroll the magic carpet, lay it on the ground, and sit on it. The carpet begins to rise skyward. As you ascend higher, you realize that the carpet is beyond your control. It glides through the air on a seemingly predetermined course. You can't use that there.
I wasn't trying to. Okay, so we have this snake here. Definitely want to save your game because the window of time here is very limited. So you're going to use the mermaid's necklace to basically charm the snake.
You dangle the shimmering opal in front of the snake. It soon falls hypnotized in typical snake fashion.
And definitely just run right by it because it only lasts for a short time. So here is an Easter egg.
You reach into the cavity and feel around. What is this? You've discovered a button hidden inside the rock. You press it and wait to see what happens next. In an instant, a man stands beside you. He appears to be somewhat of an adventurer, much like yourself.
Greetings. I am King Graham of Daventry.
The newcomer nods in greeting. Without a word, he respectfully appraises you. You notice about him the manner of one who has only recently learnt the meaning of heroism.
From where do you hail, good sir?
The man opens his mouth to answer, but then pauses to consider that question. Evidently deciding that irrelevant exposition would serve neither party, he casually gestures to the hole in the rock behind you.
Might I inquire something of your identity?
After a brief search of his own person, the man pulls out a scroll card and hands it to you. You unroll it, and it reads, "Having fulfilled the requirements in accordance with the statutes of the famous Adventurers Correspondence School, the bearer is a qualified would-be hero." The man also shows you a medallion. Upon it are the words, "Hero of Spielberg." You reverently return the scroll to the man.
You don't say much, do you?
With a sigh of resignation, the man shakes his head silently.
Surely you might speak to me of your adventures.
The man becomes quite enthused about the prospect of relating his most recent adventure to you. Just as he is about to speak, however, you notice something on the ground that the man must have dropped. You retrieve the paper. It appears to be a scroll. Upon it is some writing. Disclaimer, you have just witnessed a rather shameless plug for the remake of Quest for Glory 2 Trial by Fire by the entities of AGD Interactive. Available now. As you read the writing, the words are ingrained in your mind. The scroll disappears.
Nice. Okay. So this is the Enchanter's Cave, and we're going to go in here and perform a spell. So we're going to need to use
an ancient book lies open on the workbench. Though its pages are torn and faded, the cover is still a bright blood red. You flip through the book entitled, Ye Old Book of Enchantments, Causes and Cures. The first half contains a list of enchantments. These do not interest you, as you have no desire to inflict inconvenience upon others. However, the Cures section does capture your curiosity. While browsing, you spy a promising paragraph.
While casting enchantments upon others may provide you with many daily hours of fun, do not ignore the danger that a miscast spell may have upon your own person. For this reason, you should prepare a simple item with which you can protect yourself against the effects of an enchantment, as well as providing a means for reversing said spell should it be deemed necessary. Only the power of the emerald can properly dispel an enchantment, and thus the steps to create one are as follows. Firstly, heat a blue mineral and yellow vegetable, a plant is an acceptable alternative, together until they coagulate into a greenish liquid. Stir the mixture with a white feather. Drop into this a perfectly clear crystal and recite, "Heed now these words, crystal perfect, green is thy hue, restore correct, guard well my form, preserve, protect." You will now have the means to safeguard yourself should your enchantments ever get out of hand. To restore that which is under the effect of an enchantment, simply allow a strong light to pass through your emerald at the subject. Then behold the restoration. Alright. So, now we're going to actually make the spell.
You approach the workbench for a closer look.
Okay, so we need to put either the brooch or the earrings in the beaker. Let's go with the brooch. Either one will work, though.
You toss the brooch into the beaker.
And I'm going to put the yellow flower from Possum in there.
You toss the sickly yellow flower into the beaker.
And now we're going to light the Bunsen burner.
You strike
here.
the head of the mallet against the flintstone. It sparks, and the wick catches alight. You watch, fascinated, as the two unlikely objects melt under the heat of the magical flame.
Okay, and now we need to use the feather we got from the swan.
You stir the mixture carefully with the white feather. It soon dissolves in the hot liquid.
Okay, now we need to look at our sword.
This is the sword of the first king of Daventry. It dates back almost 1,000 years and has been passed down from king to king since that time. Try not to damage it. A magnificent clear crystal is embedded within its hilt.
So you can use either the picket or the mallet.
The head of the mallet is made of iron.
To pry the crystal off the sword.
You managed to dislodge the crystal that had been set within the hilt of the sword almost a millennium ago. You feel a tinge of guilt and wonder what all the past monarchs of Daventry would say if they saw you damaging ancient crown property.
Okay, so we're going to put that in the
drop
beaker.
the crystal in and watch, amazed, as the green liquid slowly seeps into it.
And we're going to talk and recite the spell.
Heed now these words. Crystal, perfect. Green is thy hue. Restore, correct. Guard well my form. Preserve, protect.
You recite the words correctly, line for line, and sure enough, only a brilliant emerald remains in the glass beaker. You quickly blow the flame out so as not to overheat the emerald and cause damage to it.
Now we just take that.
Picking it up gingerly, you're amazed that the emerald took virtually no time at all to cool.
I'm going to use the emerald on the snake.
As you direct the sun's light through the emerald at the snake, you behold a wondrous transformation. Before you now stands a magnificent winged horse.
Thank you for freeing me. A horrid enchanter transformed me into that legless thing after I refused to be his steed.
Okay.
That was quite a gamble, to refuse an enchanter.
True, but I could not have accepted, even if I had wanted to. For I am a disciple of the cloud, and can serve no land dweller.
Disciple of the cloud? What does that mean?
First, tell me of what you seek up here.
You take a deep breath, then explain about the Door of Destiny, the gems of nature, and your present quest to locate the growth gem.
So, you seek the air gem?
Yes, that is right. You know of it?
Most certainly. But you will not be able to reach it by any means available to you or any of your kind. I would gladly take you to it, but alas, the enchanter took and hid from me my bridle. Without it, we could search for 1,000 years and still never find the cloud spirit.
Where did he hide your bridle?
I do not know. Perhaps a clue may be found in that blackguard's abode behind me.
See if he has anything else to
What
say.
is this spirit you speak of?
The essence of what you seek. It passes through us as we grow, all through our lives, though few are ever aware of it. You will know soon enough when I take you to it.
Why do
Anything
you
else?
choose to serve this cloud spirit?
It is my destiny, and I must fulfill it, just as you must fulfill yours.
I was not aware that I had one.
All of us have a destiny. Some are predestined, others are determined by choice. I believe yours to be of the latter.
You don't have anything else to say to the steed.
Okay, so I think this is a good place to stop. Next time we will defeat the enchanter and go see the cloud spirit and then start looking for the third and final gem. If you're enjoying the videos, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out a lot and it's very much appreciated. Thanks, guys.